Great Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Monday show, March 24th, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Over 80,000 subscribers on that platform. And before we say good afternoon to Braylon Edwards, I want to pop up. This is the final week. You have 4 days remaining to get involved. 3 days remaining, actually, because we're going to pick on Thursday. So you have 3 days remaining to get your entries into our Pistons giveaway. 2 second-row seats, a parking pass, dinner at Parlay. Joik Bell and Parlay were in at Fox 2 this morning in the 8 o'clock hour doing a kitchen segment. You will get all of that. All you have to do, donate $5 in the Super Chat. You'll get 1 entry. $10 gets you 3 entries. $20 in the Super Chat gets you 10 entries. We will pick that winner on Thursday, so get involved. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. I'll do a hey and hello to everybody out there. But Maz had an actual addition that he wanted to add to that. Maz, tell him about the package and what you want to add to it.
Well, I was going to do a little bonus here, but we have to probably all remember that we all want to get in on this. Ryan didn't think it might not be as good of an idea as to give extra bonuses out this week because he thinks it would cheapen the contest from earlier.
Well, I feel bad for the people last week that did it, you know, unless you want to do that for everybody.
Maybe we'll do it on Wednesday.
Maybe we do it on Wednesday, but then you're telling people basically don't not to get involved
we're not
until Wednesday.
We're just gonna keep it the way it is.
I have the tickets in my possession. I got the tickets. I got the parking pass. I have it all. So
third row.
100%.
Third row.
It is third row.
Third row.
It is third row, behind the basket. So you're right out to So you know the seats where the lounge area is.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll be off in the lounge area. You'll be 3 rows back. You'll be off to the side. Seats are amazing. Seats are even better than I thought. And then you get the parking pass. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. I think I actually want to go to the game now too. Like I'm kind of seeing how the season is shaping up. But you said hello, good afternoon. Good weekend.
Hold on one sec, Braylon. Everybody in the chat saying our audio is real low. Is that?
It's funny. I was just raising them up because they were lower from when I walked in here.
Okay.
So it should be better. Everybody let me know if it's not.
All right. We'll get you in the chat. Sorry, Braylon. Go. Continue.
No, you're good. We'll talk about, March Madness. That was this weekend. That's all really I did. Watch March Madness, chill out with the family a little bit. Worked out. Shout out to Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Got a chance to go there and kick it. And then went to church. You and I touched bases yesterday. We both went to church. Church was great. Church had a special message. Shout out to Life Church, 9 Mile Lives, and shout out to Pastor Allen. The message was, and Pastor, it's just because you go to church, just because you have that love in your heart, you got to love like God loves. So, we come on here and we talk stuff about people. And last week I called somebody a B-I-T-C-H. That's not what God likes. That's not what God is. That's not what church is. So, it's one thing to...
God hasn't seen the chat, though.
but it's not about that.
I know, I'm joking.
It's not about that. God gave his only begotten son for the word. So, you know what? I'm gonna do better being a good person, being a true Christian. You can't be want to fight somebody and talk stuff. So,
Amen.
You want to know what the message? You want to know what the message is? I went to church as well this week. I love going to mass. The message from the priest there: don't feel shame in your sorrows. Feel hope in your healing.
Amen.
How about that?
I feel it.
Right.
Don't feel shame in your sorrow.
So my bracket is busted.
Feel hope in your healing, Tom.
Hope in my healing. Thank you to St. John's, by the way. Nice Catholic school in New York City.
Look at that.
Yes, they finished me off over the weekend. Pause. I do have Michigan State and 2 other
Hold
ones.
on. I want to read for you.
But my Woodward Sports bracket is shot.
I want to read for you Tom Mazaway's text to Braylon and I on Saturday when the Johnnies were playing.
God, I hate them.
What does he say here? Oh, gosh.
That's great.
Oh, here it is. Ready? 5:17 p.m. I don't remember being this angry watching a game. You were mad. I was mad.
It was shooting 29%.
Yeah.
29%.
Hopefully you had the under.
That was crazy.
I didn't bet.
I'm just kidding, man.
And as it continued on, the best player on St. John's, the kid that took him through the Big East and the whole 9 yards to win 20-plus games this year, is on the bench for most of the second half, all the second half. And he's just sitting there, and Rick Pitino put him on that bench. Meanwhile, the announcers are like, how is this guy on the bench? They need this, they need that, they need threes at the end. Best three-point shooter sitting on the bench. Then they asked Pitino in the postgame. And Pitino talked to the guys like, hey, George, I think you understand why he's on the bench. I don't think you have to ask me that question. You know why I put him on the bench. And the word is the kid just didn't listen to the coaching staff. He was on his own, and there you go. He wasn't a recruited high school kid. We talked about how Rick Pitino managed this team. He went to the transfer portal, and he hired grown-ass men to come to St. John's and play at Madison Square Garden. And I think that came back to bite him, right? I do.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. And we could talk about this. We were going to talk about this next segment. If you want to do it now, we could do it now. But this is what college basketball is all about. It's the portal. Who can you afford to buy? Who can you afford to buy? And yes, there are those Michigan State teams every now and again. Of course, Cooper Flagg at Duke. Kids get recruited to Duke. They play 2 years maybe and out. But you might get a guy for 2 years. That is the max you will have a player in college basketball these days. 2 years. If you have a player for 3 years, he sucks. Generally. He's a bad player.
Or 7 years, like Hunter Dickinson.
There you go.
Yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah, this is what the NIL and transfer portal have done. At the end of the day, there's no allegiance to the school that you go to. It's just all about show me the bag, show me the money, and they look at coaches as the people that provide the money. And we'll talk about Maryland and what that situation was, but that's what it is. There's no – I don't want to say respect because it's not that, but there's no loyalty to the program. There's no loyalty to the school. At the end of the day, I came to St. John's, though, to turn up, do well in the tournament, and to get to the NBA or to get to the next spot, and that's what you saw. Rick Pitino had every point to take him out of the game, and I understood what he was doing. All he's doing is jacking up threes when the percentages were down. You're putting your team in a bad spot, but he was there for himself. Rick Pitino sat him on the bench. The problem is when it doesn't work, now they can point to you as a guy. That's who the fault it was. Remember when Nick Saban did that in the national championship with Jalen Hurts? But it worked.
Yep.
Because
Tua Tagovailoa comes in, he wins the game in overtime. Remember Bill Belichick did that with Malcolm Butler and it didn't work? Nope. And we've been talking about it ever since. We will be talking about this move with Rick Pitino for a very long time because at the end of the day, he is the Big East Player of the Year. You sit him for a second, and then you put him out there. So what if he doesn't figure it out? This is what the NIL is. That guy hasn't been with you for 4 years. That guy you didn't go into his living room and recruit him when he was 16 and 17 and 18, and you built a relationship. That's not what college basketball is anymore. So you're going to see situations like that. And Rick Pitino, he's an old school coach. He wasn't having it. And it came back to bite him.
And Rick Pitino and St. John's losing, one of the stories of the tournament, because everybody else is winning.
Yeah.
All 4 number 1 seeds in the Sweet 16. 3 number 2 seeds.
Most of the favorites. Yep.
Still involved in this. Michigan, a 5 seed, should have been a 3 seed, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And the favorites are winning. Here we are. This is college basketball in 2025. Pete just put the stat up, and he'll put it up again from OptaStats. This is the first time in the history of college basketball that the Sweet 16 has composed entirely of 4 conferences. Only 4 different conferences represented. Big 10, ACC, SEC, Big 12.
Interesting.
ACC is an abomination.
Or Big East. I'm sorry. Big East, not Big 12. Big East. That is it. Last year, 7 conferences represented in the Sweet 16, Bray.
Because you're not going to have it like it was in times before. They now use the smaller school, or they use Maction. Sorry, Pete.
No.
They use those teams to play for a year and then get to the big team. So those MAC teams and those Cinderella teams, you won't see that. You'll see maybe 1. I mean, what's the biggest seed left? A 10?
A 10.
That's what you're seeing because all these players, they want to do a year and then they want to go to Kentucky. They want to go to UCLA. They want to go to Michigan State. So that's what you're going to see.
And number 10 seed, by the way, Braylon. And, by the way, that 10
Arkansas
seed
I was about to say
is Arkansas, who
I was about
is
to say.
only coached by one of the great coaches of the last 25 years in John Calipari. And look, I'm okay with it because I like the big schools. I didn't, for as much as we love the upset in the NCAA tournament, I do not want to see FAU and San Diego State in the Final Four.
Right.
I don't want to see that.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I think it's great in the first round, second round, all that stuff. I think it's great when they complete the upset to get to the Final Four, like George Mason did a couple of years.
VCU.
VCU. FAU. San Diego State.
Valpo.
Whatever the case may be. I think it's great when they actually win. But then you get to the Final Four and you're like, I don't want to see this team here.
Yeah, right.
So it does it ruins the allure of March Madness. There's no doubt about it. Braylon, we talked last week when our friend Jack Golke was here, last year's tournament hero, and he lit it up for Oakland against Kentucky. There are currently over 700 players in Division II in the transfer portal. Over 700.
That's wild.
Today, the Division I transfer portal opened up. And you know what? There are teams still in the tournament where the players have to make a decision whether or not they're entering the portal. We just saw it at Michigan. Today, Scottie Pippen's kid has entered the transfer portal. And to be honest with you, I don't know what that means. Does Pippen
I don't even know who he played for.
Michigan.
I don't even know that.
I understand that. But
Crazy.
like, is this kid, he's been practicing all year long, does he now not earn the right to stay with Michigan for the tournament run? I don't know what happens.
I think he does.
I'm asking.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he does.
But still, I
But
mean,
it happened in college football last year. One of the final teams. A kid was transferring, yet he could still finish the year with that
that's
team.
a really uncomfortable spot to be. It's just the wild, wild west. It's. I understand it for the player, but I think this is terrible for the sport.
So do you think there should be like a free agency period or something?
Yeah, and it should be after the season.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
first
yeah.
and
Gotcha,
foremost.
gotcha.
There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
reason why you can't wait another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, let's start there.
Yeah, I don't think what I'm about to say has anything to do with that, but this is something that I did notice. You talk about the kind of like the breakthrough, the SEC conference, 14 teams they had, Big Ten, another 8 teams that they had. They're the dominant ones. Now with NIL, I think back in the day, and this is crazy, tell me if I'm wrong, players in basketball went to the schools because of basketball. Like, you went to the schools, all right, bet, I want to go to UCLA. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to insert the teams that you watch. I think now kids are going to the schools where the football teams are good because the rise in the SEC, 14 teams in the tournament, kids want to go to teams in the SEC. SEC has been the football conference as well as the Big Ten, who had 8 teams. I think these kids are trying to find these NIL deals at schools that have great football. They no longer care about basketball. They no longer care about going to, it has to be UConn. It has to be Kansas. It has to be Michigan State. It has to be Arizona. I care less about them schools because I can go to SEC where I know Arkansas has a good football team, et cetera, go down the line, and oh, by the way, they're going to spend that money. That's why you see that rise in the SEC. It's money and it's football.
And when it comes to Michigan guys, too, because, you know, our good friend from Big D Energy, Neil Rule, was getting after Maz and I in our little station chat
I
this
didn't
week.
like that one thing you said.
Because, you know,
that's what he does.
he was poking us because he said, oh, it's nice to see that the Michigan fans are coming out. Michigan has done something that has never been done in the college basketball world before. They went from winning 8 games the previous year to now being in the Sweet 16 the next.
With a first-year coach.
With a first-year
First-year
coach.
coach.
So last year Michigan finished 8-24. This year they're in the Sweet 16. That has never happened in a one-year turnaround before. And again, that's one of the positives of NIL. If you are a Michigan fan, you no longer have to wait to get a coach fired, get a coach hired, get his own players in, have that recruit that's a freshman or a sophomore turn into a junior or senior, and then maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, you can have an opportunity to compete in a Sweet 16 and, heaven forbid, win a national championship. 1 year. That's all it requires. 1 year. Do you have enough money in your program to hire the players that can get you to the Final Four? Because that's all this is about now. And again, I'm fine with it because my school has money.
Yeah.
And my school is going to be involved. But if you're not a Michigan fan, if you're not a Michigan State fan, if you're not a Duke fan or whatever, I think this is just a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing.
When Neil said that, I didn't respond. I had a lot going on Sunday, so no time to respond. But I just took it as this. You know, it's easy for Neil to talk about, the Michigan fans are back now, that they're in the tournament, and where were you? I'm sorry that Michigan's not Oakland University, where you've had Campy for the last 45 years. I'm sorry that Michigan isn't Michigan State, where you've had Tom Izzo for 35 or 40 years or however long. Michigan this is where we've been. You got 1 year of Dusty, you got 4 years of Juwan Howard, you got, 15, you got 12 years of John Beilein, you got 6 of Tommy Amaker, you got 5 of Brian Ellerby.
Beilein put them on the map again.
100%. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many different coaches is that? How many different styles is that?
Right.
How many different types of recruiting packages is that? How many different personalities is that? That's why Michigan doesn't have a consistent sense, and still somehow Michigan has been good in basketball. So miss me with that.
Whether it's Michigan, the Pistons, the Lions, and this is the problem that I have with a lot of people. Okay, the Lions all of a sudden were good, right? Lions have been good the last couple of years. And then there was that argument, well, you're not a diehard Lions fan. You're an SOL guy, and then all of a sudden they're good and you're hopping on. Will you allow these fans onto the bandwagon? I mean, we've talked about that before. What about the Tigers? You complain they suck all last year, and then all of a sudden they turn it around, have a 2% chance to get into the postseason. They do, and then all of a sudden Comerica Park is full. And I'll say it with the Michigan Wolverines and any other team. The Pistons this year are a perfect example. I will not be a fan of you if you suck. I'm out.
You're a fan. You're just not following them.
Yeah.
You're
Fine.
still a fan.
Okay, fine. Still a fan.
You're not losing. Neil busts our chops. I'm always going to be a Michigan fan. If they suck, I'm just not going to pay as much attention to them. So if you want to call me a fair weather fan, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But I am a true blue Michigan Wolverines fan.
Yeah, and again, you know, the point that I was trying to make is, yes, I pay attention to Michigan basketball when they're good. I pay attention to the Pistons when they're good. I know before this year, I might have watched in the last 10 years, legitimately, 5 Pistons games.
Man, I didn't even watch 5.
Maybe.
I hadn't even watched 5.
I'm being generous.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
I get it.
Like, I'm sorry. My time is too valuable. My money is too valuable to support teams that suck.
Yeah.
It just is. And I just have too much going on. And I'm sure everybody else does too. And what I equate it to is these diehard fans. You got to root for your team no matter what. You got to be there in the building.
Activity. Like, that's literally gang activity.
Like, I'm just saying,
Exactly.
like, if you went to a restaurant,
The colors.
right.
if you went to a restaurant and you had 20 bad meals in a row,
Why are you there?
Yeah.
okay? You had 20 bad meals in a row. Your experience is terrible. Are you going back for that 21st meal?
Nope.
Or are you going to wait until they get a new chef, till they get some new ingredients, till they get some new items on the menu, that you're going to get a good meal?
That's correct.
It's pretty simple. The chef and the ingredients on the Pistons over the last decade, and for Michigan over the last year, not great. For the Lions, not great for the last 60 years. You feel like they got it right. So I think it is okay, absolutely okay, for fans to come out of the woodwork and be excited that your team is in the Sweet 16. Braylon, I admit, I don't pay attention to basketball until March. And do you know why I don't pay attention until March? Because nothing else matters. Either you're one of the teams left or you're not. You go through all season, you get this one game. I mean, Michigan State was tied with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. I mean, and then they went on a crazy spurt there.
Yeah.
Michigan was down by 10 in the second half, and they came back. Okay, it's great, it's exciting, but if they look at St. John's, they picked a bad night to have a bad shooting night. And if you paid attention to St. John's all year, for what? You know what I mean?
Right.
What was your reward? What was your reward? So I don't care about conference championships in the regular season, because just ask St. John how important that conference championship was. That regular season conference championship was to their success of the season. Do you think St. John's feels like that was the success of the season? This is a sport you don't have to pay attention until a couple of weeks ago.
I say the same thing for NHL and NBA for the most part.
Yeah.
If I go to a game, I'm going for my enjoyment. I'm not going because I have to be there rooting for my team. The Red Wings, 82 games. And it's going to come down to the last 13 games to see if they're worth their salt, if they could snap an 8-year playoff drought. The Pistons, they have put on a great show this year, so I paid attention. And I've been to many games. There were a couple of years, the last 2-3 years, I hardly went to games. This year, I'm all over them. I wish I could go tomorrow. I had plans, but the Spurs are here tomorrow. I'd love to go see them.
Is Popovich and Wembanyama making the trip?
Oh, no, they're finished for the year. Anyway, it's just fun. Baseball, 162 games. Baseball's a different type of season. If you just want to go and just watch a game with your family, even if your team sucks, if your team sucks,
100%.
you can get in really cheap. You can't. If they're good, it's going to be harder to find a seat, but at least you're watching a good game. A lot of times, I just go to watch the other team, to be honest with you. And that's how I plan my stuff. And for the Lions, all those fans came out of the woodwork last year and the year prior, but last year especially. And you heard it. The people who were at that Washington game, that divisional game, the crowd was not the same because they were not the people that brought them up to that point. The people that were sitting there were paying the top dollar to get there because they were the fans that were just hopping on the bandwagon. So say what you want. There's different ways to look at your teams.
At the end of the day, if Michigan goes out here and beats Auburn on Friday, #1 seed, Michigan wins that game, I guarantee you I'm going to feel the same as a person that's been cheering for Michigan for the last 40 years.
Same.
I'm going to feel the exact same. Their elation is not going to be any different than mine. My support for their team is no different than theirs. Like, Michigan coming into the season had the worst record in the Big Ten last year. They didn't win double-digit games. Juwan Howard, the last 3 years in Michigan, we've all said it. Flannel Salmon's come up here for 2.5 years and be rated an individual that at the particular time deserved it. So where do we go with the season? I heard the Dusty May guy is good. I'm going to give it a watch. I'm going to give it a chance. Struggle in the beginning of the game. They don't have any guard play. They can't shoot. And then you blink and you look. And they won 15, 16, 17 in a row. They've got your eye. Now you're paying attention. Man, I like this Dusty May guy. Who's this Wolf kid? Who's this Golden kid? Oh, didn't he play in FAU? Oh, that's right. He was the Final Four. Oh, I see the correlation. The story brought us in. I never stopped supporting. I don't think anybody ever stopped supporting Michigan. It's just how much can you take? Just like the Red Wings. A lot of Red Wings fans, 8 years, no playoffs. Last year, we almost made it. This year, we might almost make it. At what point do Red Wings fans, D-Mac, since you missed a 4-time Stanley Cup, at what point do you get to say, they got to do something to bring me back in? At what point as a fan do you get to say, this isn't good enough?
And how were you ever happy? Like,
at what point?
When bandwagon fans got on the Lions, I got happy about that because they're doing good. People are going to the games. I feel like you're unhappy when your team isn't doing good, and then they do good, and now you're unhappy because people are happy. It's such a depressing way to live.
That's brilliant.
Such a depressing way to live.
It's brilliant.
The biggest annoyance with it all is at
Tell
the
that
end.
to Neil.
And that's what I was gonna say. The biggest annoyance of it all is for Neil. I have to yell to get the point across. Is if I feel as though if you don't say if you say anything about the franchise or school, anything critical. Or anything that you can maybe do this or maybe change that, or you suck right now, then you're not a loyal fan. You've jumped off the bandwagon. Right. If being on the wagon for life means that I can't point out things that I don't like, it means I can't say, what the hell is this coach? What the hell is this player? What the hell was that move?
Brad Holmes.
Exactly. If I can't say that, then I'm good. I'll be a bandwagon fan. I'll be a bandwagon fan because I like to address issues as they arise. Point
and you need to have a little hope in your organization, too. I mean, for the Lions specifically, what did the organization give you that ever made you want to stay a fan of that team, other than a bunch of heartache and a couple of Hall of Fame players?
Yeah.
Like the individual play from some of the players, but there was never any real hope that they were building towards a Super Bowl championship or anything like that. I mean, in college sports was a little bit different. Now I don't think it is. In college sports, like if you had a back in the day, if you had a new coach, like for instance, like during the Rich Rod years, I really did expect him to build a Big Ten championship. So I never left. I felt like I was watching a story being told. It never happened, and I will maintain that if Rich Rod got a fourth year, they would have won double-digit games and been every bit as good as the Brady Hoke team. I believe that. You can call them. We'll never know.
I disagree.
And that's fine. You won't be right. I won't be right. We just are left with our opinions. I mean, because we don't know.
He wasn't right for the system. He wasn't right for the University of Michigan. He wasn't right for Big Ten. He would not have won here.
And fair enough. I'm just trying to accentuate a point where, like, you would get a new coach, and you would feel some sort of hope about that. College sports now is year to year. I mean, even with Michigan, right? And I mentioned this with Michigan football. If they don't pay Bryce Underwood, I'm sorry. They're a 7 or 8 win team year in and year out because they just don't have a quarterback.
To your point, when Brady Hoke took over the job at University of Michigan, took over for Rich Rod, I remember the first spring game. First spring game was a time for former alums. He invited us all up there that Friday, and he had a whole presentation, showed us around the facility, which we know like the back of our hands, but he had a message for us. He told us the things that he was going to incorporate. He told us what it was going to be about. He told us that we would get back to the Michigan tradition. Now, this is 2011, so when he's saying this, this is 2011. We're all buying in. The optimism of getting the program back. I'm like, okay, you know what? He's familiar with the program. Mm-hmm. He was on the defensive line when I was there. So, yeah, all right, this makes sense. He's going to get Michigan back. In 2025, I don't care about nothing he had to say. Do you have money? Like, that's where we're at now.
Right.
Back at that point, I was optimistic. I said, okay, he can get the tradition back to where it's going to be. And Brady Hoke, maybe he is the guy for the job. Brady's got my support. Now it's not about that. Like, do you have the money? Michigan has the money. Michigan will get the players, and they'll be decent. That's what it is now.
Did you hear the kid on Maryland in the postgame yesterday after they won?
Which one, Queen?
Yeah,
they're talking to McQueen. They asked
He's
him,
on the same high school team as Cooper Flagg, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they asked,
I did not know
they
that.
asked the kid, hey, how great a coaching job. I mean, what does your coach do for you guys? How did he get you here? Well, he's the guy that pays us the money.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Good answer.
He's
Good
the guy
answer.
that pays us the money.
Good answer.
That's the number
There you
one.
go.
That's
it.
It's so dumb.
What'd you do? He pays me the money.
But like,
I don't even like this guy.
You kind of don't even need one of these coaches anymore.
No.
Like,
Well, you kind of do.
Replace it with AI.
do. It
Yeah,
depends
if you
what
wanna
you
win,
have.
If you want to get to Sweet 16, you don't need
But
one of these coaches.
it depends what you have, right? I mean, you do need a coach. You do need somebody that can put it all together. But
You saying that we need a coach a little less. You still
Well,
need him, but he's not as
the
important
coach,
to the overall.
usually the coach used to have to be years of recruiting.
Yeah.
Years,
But what kind of recruiter
Like-
is he? It don't matter anymore.
So I say that here's an example I have. Here's an example I have, okay? And I hate going back to this, but I keep talking about my own team before I talk about anybody else's team. If Sharon Moore is the coach at Michigan, or if Braylon Edwards is the coach at Michigan, does it matter as long as you're still getting your payday? Does it matter? I mean, if I offer you more money than any other institution in college, does it matter who the coach is?
I get what you're saying. Coaches don't matter as much on the back end. Maybe on the court they still matter.
Yes.
But you're saying like the recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, you
don't need all that.
recruit your tail off. Maybe you've got a guy that, oh my God, I got to go play for Tom Izzo at
Yeah, I
Michigan
get what you're
State.
saying. I get what you're
I want my kid to play for Tom Izzo at Michigan State because if all things are equal, the coach does matter.
Yeah.
But all things are not equal anymore. I would send my kid to go play for Greg Campy, and Campy's a great, but I would send my kid to Oakland University over Michigan if Oakland gave him more money.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Coach doesn't matter anymore.
What was more impressive this past weekend? Who had the best weekend, team wise?
Michigan State.
Michigan.
No, I think Michigan.
Michigan had the best
I believe
weekend.
No,
Michigan.
the whole tournament, not just those two.
Whole
The
tournament.
whole tournament. You still can choose Michigan. I was giving
Maryland.
Arkansas.
Maryland.
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I think Arkansas.
Arkansas,
I watched,
yeah,
that game
Arkansas.
was crazy.
It'd be the 10.
was crazy.
But there's a lot of them. I mean, I think Michigan State, I got to take a break, but I think
I agree
Michigan
with
State's
you, by
going
the
to win
way,
it
Pete.
all.
It is Arkansas.
Michigan State's the best second half
Yeah.
team. If you're not beating Michigan State by 10 at the half, you're going to lose the game.
You're going to lose.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you're not up 10 at the half, you're going down. When they were down 2 or 3 at the half, I told my wife, Michigan State's got it right where they want them. And they come right out, punch you in the face, take the lead. Sure, they had a tie there, but New Mexico wasn't going to win that game.
After watching this weekend's games, I think Michigan State can certainly get to the final. That's the expectation. Minimum play for a national championship.
We'll keep talking about this because I got an opinion.
I disagree.
Burn.
I got an opinion. Too.
Burn $5. He's got an entry into the
Another
Pistons. Big money, baby. As Ted DiBiase said, everybody's got a price. But first, the message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford Buick GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision for only $299 a month. What about a 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation? $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV, $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick GMC. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Together. Let's drive.
Let's drive.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Everybody, the radio went out with powdered wigs, and your tube televisions are no good anymore, and you don't need cable anymore. You just need digital programming, and that's what we are. The #1 sports digital platform, and not just Michigan, but all the entire world. We got 6 family members over there to choose from. You can find Woodward Sports shows and programming on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch as well. Come join our family here at Woodward Sports. We are a good, solid family here, and we want you to be a part of our family as well.
And let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. At Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Michigan State both advanced to the Sweet 16. Let's start with Michigan because they played a really good game, I think. Good second half. Scored 56 points in the second half against Texas A&M, and
they down 11 points.
They are moving on. This might be the end of. If they beat Auburn,
they will.
If they beat Auburn, I don't think I'll be shocked, but I do expect them to lose the game.
Same.
No, I don't expect them at all.
If they that's good.
I'm serious.
Glad.
I'm serious.
I'm glad. They just are too Jekyll and Hyde. There's no consistency.
Wait till you see
with
Auburn
them at
play.
all.
They've been consistent for 5 straight games.
I understand, but I don't believe they could turn the ball over, and they didn't turn the ball over against Texas A&M. That's why they won.
Yeah.
Right? I just something I don't feel it with Michigan.
Vlad Golden is your wild card. He's your wild card. Him and Dusty May have been to this before, and I believe that really makes them a favorite. I believe they could beat Auburn, and I'll tell you what. If they do match up with Michigan State, and I've always said it, Michigan State's a bad matchup for them. I think they're an even team if they play them again the way they're playing now. And if they play Michigan State again in Atlanta for a right to go to the Final Four, they're going to give the Spartans every single thing they got.
I hope you're right.
Hear me out on this one. Write this one down. All right, you ready for this? Ryan, you love stories.
Mm-hmm.
Point guard, University of Michigan, Donaldson. What team he played for last year?
Auburn.
Play for Auburn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, Michigan has won. It's been ugly, but what have they done? They found ways to win. They rebounded well. They played well in the last 5 minutes of games, especially this one. They played well in the last 7. That experience that you talk about with Golden, FAU, got to the Final Four, those memories are invaluable. That experience that you can pull from in those moments and calm your teammates down, that is valuable. And also Donaldson was at for Auburn. Wolf was at last year. So, like that experience, they're going to beat Auburn. They're going to beat Auburn on Friday. And then guess what? On Sunday, they're going to beat Michigan State too. Because the question I was going to ask is,
Keep going, baby.
If you're
Keep
Michigan
talking.
State, it's momentum.
I'm not doubting
At
them.
the end of the day, it is the tournament, and it's momentum, and it's what I've seen. Coming into the season, they shouldn't be here.
Right.
But they're here. Then they got a chance to the Big Ten tournament. They shouldn't have been there, but they won. Here we are in the Sweet 16. Probably should have lost to Texas A&M how the game started. But here we are. I think they beat Auburn on Friday. Just a story, just a hunch. Go with that. And then on Sunday, I think it's Michigan State. They'll beat them as well. It'll be the 3rd time they played them. You don't want to play a team 3 times. Then they got the easy road. You mentioned it. Michigan State plays who? Texas Tech next round. Easy peasy, easy game for them, easy win. They can cruise and chill in the daytime game and watch us play the nighttime game. Michigan will win Friday, and they will win on
MSU
Sunday.
gets Ole Miss.
Yeah, they get Ole Miss.
Oh, that's
6.
even easier. Ole Miss.
Your
Ole
lips
6.
to God's ears. I hope to God you're right. I hope to God you're right.
Now, MSU clowned Michigan, if you remember. Last game of the year at East Lansing. That was Michigan playing their worst basketball. I think that was their 5th straight loss. And it looked like, all right, they're one and done in the tournament. And then they got to play, and they didn't get to play Michigan State. Wisconsin took care of that. Then Michigan took care of them. And here they are. Michigan State is still red hot and a very, very good team. But Michigan has caught the fire and makes that game an even game. And if you remember, not too long ago at Chrysler Arena, Michigan and Michigan State, that was a tight game until about 7 minutes to go in that game. And then MSU took over from there. Dusty May, you don't think they've learned from that? But one game at a time.
Yeah.
Let them take care of Auburn first. Michigan State will take care of Ole Miss. And then Sunday night, if those two play, we've got a watch party here at Woodward Sports.
This would be the biggest Michigan State basketball matchup in the history of the program, correct?
Facts.
For a trip to go to the Final Four.
No doubt.
There have been many Michigan State games before. This would be the biggest one in the history of the series.
Including football.
No, don't get crazy.
Why? They're going to the Final Four, the winner of this game.
Yeah, but I feel like football is just bigger regardless.
It
Football's
don't matter.
bigger.
When's the last big Michigan State game?
2021.
Yeah,
Yes.
21.
But it wasn't for anything.
BS. It was for the Big Ten title.
Not
Down
really.
the
It wasn't
down
at
the
the end of the
line.
season.
You said what?
Yeah, it was big. I see
True.
what you're saying though,
Right,
because
it wasn't-
Michigan lost and
it was
still
game
won
10.
the Big Ten championship.
It was game 10
Yeah.
of 14.
Maz is right then.
Yeah, it
So what
could
we
be.
talking about?
Could be.
I'm telling you.
You know.
I hope it comes to this. Man, this would be great.
This would be great for the state. Yeah,
This would be
100%.
phenomenal.
Great for sports.
Guys, don't
honestly.
worry about Michigan shutting down Auburn. That's a one. Johnny, you shut down Johnny Broom, and it's all over. That's all that they got. They're a one-dimensional team. Auburn is, and we got 2 7-footers on the inside. You shut down Johnny Broom, it's over.
And
Johnny Broom, Johnny Sweeper.
Johnny Sweeper.
It's momentum. Like that's what the tournament is all about. The tournament is about momentum. Michigan has the momentum. Like, you're talking about 7 wins. What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 6? 6 wins in a row. Like, Auburn finished the season in bad standing, and then they were number one seed. So 2 teams they played weren't good necessarily. So I just like that momentum. I have nothing more that I'm going on than Donaldson being there last year. I'm telling you, man.
Here's
I
what
like
Michigan does have going for them too.
that. Rebounding well.
And they're totally playing with house money. You know,
Got nothing to lose.
if you look at the difference from what Michigan and Michigan State, just those 2 state teams, those 2 state of Michigan teams are going through. For Michigan, it's like, man, we're here, we're playing with house money now. For the Spartans,
They
it
have
is
to win
the national championship or a failed season.
Correct.
I would
25-year anniversary of their championship. 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And you know,
won
I
that,
I did watch a lot of that MSU game last night. Man, they look really good. They look really good. When they defend, they can beat anybody in the country, man. That Cohen Carr is as athletic a player. Not saying like great player, just as athletic a player as there is in this country. He is a fun player to watch. Izzo is
Love watching him coach.
having the time of his
I love
life.
watching him
He
coach.
is fun too. If it wasn't for their despicable fan
I
base,
know.
if it wasn't for their disgusting fans,
Oh,
I would have been.
How do you
I
root
would be-
against
I
them?
would have so much
Yeah.
fun watching that basketball
Oh,
team. You know,
stinking fans.
yeah.
I made it blue. I'm gonna stick to my team. Anson told us we don't have to cheer for his team, so the hell with Michigan State. Like, at the end of the day, I'm cheering for Michigan and Michigan on. It is what it is.
Yeah, obviously we're cheering for Michigan, but I'm just
not- I'm not
Listen,
cheering. I'm not cheering for Michigan.
As
I'm not cheering for
listen,
him. I'm just saying it's
as Michigan fans,
They're all right.
watching Michigan State, we could say whatever the hell we want. Oh yeah, we love Izzo. There's not a part of. There's a part of every single one of us that are like, man, I hope they freaking lose this game.
I
hope
was
they
rooting
lose
for
this
New
game."
Mexico yesterday.
Of course. And the first game, who'd they play again? Starts with an
Montana.
M.
No, they played
Who'd they
Montana State.
I don't remember.
What?
Bryant.
New Mexico
Brian.
State.
I'm
was
sorry,
like
to Bryant. Bryant.
Brian.
5-0. I'm texting you
I
guys.
know.
Michigan
Hey.
State was Brian.
I'm just saying. God damn. Hey, what can I tell you, man?
And so
It is
I
what
was
it
rooting
is.
for New Mexico last night. I was rooting for Bryant the night before.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. And I'll probably, it depends. Well, they're the first game. So I am going to root for Michigan State to win the first game because I want to see the matchup now.
Yeah.
Now that you're here, I want to see the matchup, Michigan State.
Would
for
you
the
have rather
Final
been the
Four.
first game or the second game?
Well, listen, and I'm not
game.
trying to be a troll here, okay? I am not NOT trying to be a
going
troll.
to the chat.
This is just a fact, okay? Michigan is the last game because they're the most intriguing game. More people care about Michigan-Auburn than they do Michigan State
go.
because that's what television is telling you. That's not me telling you that. That's what TBS, CBS, that's what they are telling you.
But that's not what Maz asked you. He asked you, would you rather be the early game or the late game? And
If
then
you're the team.
And then you went on to troll Michigan State.
No, I'm talking about the time of the game.
I know.
but-
I'm
Yeah,
just-
I'd rather be the last game.
That was
Really?
the answer.
not
See?
me. I want to play the first game.
Nah.
Well, it's almost like even for a fan, I hate playing the night games, like the 10 o'clock game Thursday, the 10 o'clock game Friday.
Yes.
All that stuff. But it does make the tournament last longer for the fan base because you do find yourself watching the earlier games. Man, if my team played at noon on Thursday, got knocked out, I would just ruin the rest of the tournament for me. You know, all that March Madness hubbub, and then your team loses the 12 o'clock game on Thursday. Tournament's over.
So you had something to look forward to.
Yes.
Now, here, you guys know the comic Nate Bargatze?
No.
He's so...
Is it Fugazi?
No, he's so funny. Nate, you never heard of him?
I never heard
of him. He did the Saturday Night Live a couple of times. He was the General George Washington. Do you remember the skit I'm talking about?
I wasn't a big Saturday Night Live guy.
I know, I'm not Saturday Night, but I watch it online. I watch it on Twitter. I have never sat down to watch the Saturday Night Live. Okay? Anyway, it's a funny skit. And basically he said, as George Washington back in the old days, he's sitting there with his guys, his troops. He was a general at the time. And he's like, why are we playing a basketball game so late in the day when everybody was off all day long and there was only one basketball game on? And his answer was, we don't know. We don't know. If you saw the skit, you guys would know what I'm talking about. But, geez, man, we had to wait till 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday to watch the Michigan State game. That's a sin. The game should be over by 9 o'clock.
I totally agree with that.
Over. You have all day to play these games. Why are you playing it at 9 o'clock at night?
I don't know that answer.
It's in Cleveland.
And the 10 o'clock tip in Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Your minds.
A 10 o'clock clip.
It's stupid.
Can you
I
imagine
agree.
going to that game with your family?
It's the stupidest thing.
No, I can't.
I'm sorry, CBS,
No, I can't.
TNT, TBS. I'm sorry. You suck. You do. You suck.
As it relates to Michigan State, the two teams they played Bryan, they played New Mexico. Neither one of those teams were good. I can't say what I saw out of Michigan State. I can't say I saw enough for them to get into the national championship, or I saw enough for them to get into the Final Four. They didn't play anybody, and they looked like the number 2 seed, who someone told me they were a number 1 seed. So as it relates to that, that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of the game, it's the earlier game for 2 reasons. 1, because you have more rest. That's just an athletic point. You get more rest, and then 2, you get the chance to watch the team. You get a chance to see what they do that you're going to play against. So I would like to play the early game from that standpoint.
Mick Lovin says on the chat, it's to appease the West Coast people. No one cares about the West Coast people.
80% of the country lives in the Eastern and Central time zone.
Nobody cares about the West. Nobody.
True. And even a 6 o'clock game is still 3 o'clock there. That's not bad.
Right.
Come on, man.
We're not saying it'd be early. We're at least getting a 6 o'clock game.
There was one game on between noon and 3. One.
That's crazy.
It's terrible.
William said that was terrible in a Barkley accent.
Terrible.
That was terrible.
Let's go for terrible what Michigan does to our
How about did you see
coming
him
up
go
on
to
Friday.
Barkley? Ernie went
ice
to
cream?
Barkley for I forget whatever game was on, but he was watching the Michigan State game.
I did see that.
They go up to
I
him
did
and they're
see
like,
that.
"So Charles, what'd you think of that?" Blah 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 blah, and he goes,
I wasn't
and then they all start laughing at him because he had absolutely no idea what they were talking about.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, Jason McIntyre on Colin's show, he's the sidekick for Colin.
Yeah.
He said this a couple of months ago, and I blew it off. But the more I think about it, he's totally right. These guys inside the NBA, they have ruined basketball. It's a great show. It's a great show. It's a funny show.
How could they ruin it?
But they have ruined the sport because all they do
Let's talk about players.
is sit up there and crush the league. They sit up there and destroy players.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
But if you think about the lasting effect that has on the social conscience of basketball fans, it basically means that this game, this team, this player is so uninteresting that you do not have to watch them. And now you have brought that over to the college game, to where you're not even watching the number 1 team in the country play their game. You're sitting there on a desk. You're paid $25 million a year to do your job. And part
That
of
is
your
his
job is to watch the game, though.
Right.
And I understand what you're saying, and people love it, and I loved it for a long time.
I don't care.
I know you don't, and I didn't either. But what I'm saying is he's right. Jason McIntyre is right. These guys, what Shaq said about the Pistons, I know you guys talked about it.
Yeah.
Like,
he didn't know who coached them.
That is horrible. He didn't know who coached them. Says they're boring. Oh, yeah, they only average 120 points a game. They've won 40 games this year after winning 34, not last year, 34 the 2 previous years combined.
Right.
They're only the greatest story in the NBA, or one of them.
Hands down.
Like, how don't you know this? It belittles your fan base. It belittles your league. And they're just carrying this over from the NBA to college basketball. And I don't think I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, and sometimes they get up there and they spew BS. Like, for years, Skip Bayless went up there and called Russell Westbrook, called him West Brick. And everybody thought it was funny, and everybody thought it was cool, and everybody joined in. And then, he goes to the Lakers, and they don't know how to use him. They use him as an off-ball point guard. Now, everybody in the world thinks Russell Westbrook is a bad basketball player. Meanwhile, he averaged a triple-double 4 seasons. Now, he gets to a team that's good, that knows how to use him. His whole career is revitalized. Everyone thought he was a bum because of Skip Bayless and because of a bad organization.
Here's the difference, though, between Skip Bayless and Charles Barkley and inside the NBA crew. Skip Bayless is a talk show host, radio guy.
Yeah. Right. He's a shock jock.
He's a shock jock. Yeah. These people are actually in partnership with the league. You know what I mean? Who are actually like pregame, pregame, halftime, and postgame show. That is what you're seeing when you watch a game.
Nobody did that to them. Like, that's what it boils down to.
Yes.
There were no commentators, analysts, former players. There wasn't Walt Frazier. There wasn't Bill Walton, the guys that were doing TV that were on there bashing the players.
They would never call them out.
And to Maz's point, a lot of it is deserving. A lot of the players are soft. A lot of them are lazy. A lot of them do things that are annoying to us as fans. But a lot of things that they say, they get on those players like nobody did that to them. And that's why KD comes out. KD's the one that goes back at him. Like, the players now hate them.
Is it just because, like, maybe Shaq and Charles is just brands now? And it's just maybe they need some more real analysts on there?
It's not about being an analyst. It's the fact that you guys played this game. And you guys know a lot of the intricacies behind closed doors. But yet you come on here like you don't. You come on here and you go with players like you don't know the behind the scenes. And that's what players don't like. Like, come
you
on.
Believe they don't like them?
I know for a fact they don't like them.
They hate these guys.
They hate that show?
Yes.
They hate them.
Wow.
And just like these players hate Stephen A. Smith.
They hate him.
They hate him too?
They hate Stephen A. Smith.
But again, Stephen, no, he is with the NBA.
You know?
I'm say his separate.
I mean, he sits there on the ESPN shows.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
I know LeBron's got an issue with him.
Yeah, just think about this. You never see guys like really want to go sit on that show during the season when they're not playing. Like, they don't. You don't have Shea Gilgeous on a bye week or insert player going to sit on the desk at around what is it called, an NBA show inside the NBA. You don't have guys sitting on the desk. You don't have guys wanting to go outside of Draymond Green, who's going to be the next replacement for Charles Barkley. Guys don't want to go sit in there because they.
I think Draymond will be the same as them.
I agree.
He is.
I think he is
100%.
He's gonna rip them just like everybody
like
else.
All-Star Weekend. He was like that at All-Star Weekend.
Did you hear what he said about the Pistons this past weekend?
No.
I sent it into the chat.
He loves himself some Pistons.
Cade's gonna win a championship
or 2 for this Piston team.
I love it.
And he said it's coming sooner than you think.
And again, Cade is a superstar that I think players would want to play with.
Yeah. What did I tell you about him? He could be the face of the NBA. That's how good he is.
I agree with that. Let me get to Jared Sayers, $10 in the chat, and that'll get you 3 entries into the Detroit Pistons ticket giveaway as well. Props to the Grand Valley State women's team.
Yeah.
They play the Division II Elite 8 tonight. My brother is the associate head coach, Phil Sayers, 98 grad of East Detroit High.
Yeah.
From Shamrocks,
Let's
baby.
go, Phil.
Best senior class in program history, streaming on ESPN+. That is awesome.
You got to go like this.
You want to hear a little?
Anchor up.
Anchor up.
Anchor up, baby. Go Lakers.
You want to hear a little funny story about East Detroit?
I do.
Bishop Gallagher didn't have a football field, so my senior year we played all our home games At East Detroit.
East Detroit Memorial. That's where I played. St. Veronica.
100%. Shout
St.
out to Kelly Road.
Used to tear up that field.
A little bit. I did a little something.
They could have used an updated scoreboard because all those touchdowns I used to have back on that field. Keep going,
extra digit.
and going.
I was a big defensive stat guy my senior year. Didn't have a quarterback. Where have I heard that before?
Hey, guys, top of the hour, we are going to be joined by the great Lynn Henning, longtime Detroit News columnist, Tigers writer for the Detroit News. Spent some time in Lakeland with the Tigers. He's there right now. And Tigers begin their season on Thursday.
They're heading to San Francisco. They play the Giants twice at Oracle Park.
I think there's
and
value
then they go
in that.
right to L.A.
I think there's value in that, playing a couple of exhibition games.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Absolutely. In the
San Fran?
in San Francisco,
in
a major league park.
Against Justin Verlander.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You know, JV's had one hell of a spring, by the way.
He's had a good spring.
He's back.
Yeah.
Why they didn't sign him, I'll never get. And I'll ask Lynn about this, too. I'll ask him. Who'd they sign? What was that?
Alex Cobb.
Alex Cobb and his brain injury, his CTE.
Well,
When he got his head split open in 2013.
They signed Manuel Margot, former Tampa Bay Ray, and then last year he played for the Twins. His bat's been not as good lately. He's a solid utility outfielder, and they need a guy because they have nobody really playing the position that they're supposed to play in.
Have we seen a Tigers team? Now, just a Tigers team. I'm sure it's happened in Major League Baseball over the years. I'm sure there's been some dominant hitting lineups that their teams had virtually no pitching and vice versa. But it feels like the discrepancy between the Tigers pitching staff here and the Tigers lineup, which is here, is that gap is
staggering.
so big, it almost feels like you are wasting a championship pitching rotation. Now, that is how I feel right now. Without laying eyes on the team, without seeing these guys, but it feels like the gap between how good the pitching rotation is in the bullpen and how bad and inexperienced the lineup is so deep. It's like a crater that feels like a little bit of a wasted team.
Last week I heard Matt say, talking about the infield, say this is going to be the worst infield that he's ever seen. And he's not talking about just the Detroit Tigers. He was talking about the entire history of the MLB. And so when Matt said that, I said Matt's probably blowing a little bit of smoke, probably some truth to it, maybe blowing some smoke. I've heard 4 national guys, including Ben Verlander, who is Justin's brother.
Justin's brother.
I've heard 4 national guys, including Ben, talk the exact same thing, said this could be the worst infield of all time.
Wow.
Baseball been around for like 200 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. We're going to get Lynn's expertise on this. We're going to do that next. Top of the hour coming up, but first, a message from Buddy's Pizza. Buddy's been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan, and fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. We're going to be there in a couple of weeks as well. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download that Buddy's Pizza mobile app. Start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using the promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10 and then MEAL. Get you 10% off that whole order. Buddy'sPizza.com. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The bats are hot, and the weather is getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters. Woodward Sports.
Hey, Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here. It's coming up April the 4th. It's a Friday. It's also our guy, Anson Wells' birthday. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D. It's the Grand Slam Festival, the outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. The broadcast brought to you by Mad Packs and White Claw. The drinks are going to be flowing. The party will not stop. WSN will broadcast all day long. Do not miss out. Get your tickets today. As a matter of fact, we're going to give a pair of tickets away today. That's right. We'll tell you how to get there, but you want to go online right now, GrandSlamDetroit.com. GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports Opening Day brought to you by Mad Packs and White Claw. Tigers opening day, guys. It's coming up.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway, Ricky Burns, and the great Pete Spivak with us as well. It is time to talk Tigers baseball. They begin their season opening day in L.A. against the World Series defending champion L.A. Dodgers. 7:10 first pitch on Thursday night. That game is on ESPN. Let's check in with our good friend Lynn Henning, longtime Detroit News columnist, Tigers writer for many, many years. Lynn has covered this team down in Lakeland right now. Lynn, thanks so much for the time. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mr. H.
Hey.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Maz. Hi, Braylon and all. I'm still in Lakeland, even though the team flew out of here last night. I'm hanging around. I'm taking a look at some of the minor leaguers yet and finishing up sort of the post-camp stuff. And meanwhile, they're getting ready for Thursday against some team called the Dodgers in Los Angeles. I don't know much about that.
It's the All-Star game.
Yeah, right. Lynn, in your time down there, what's your first-hand account? You've seen this song and dance for many years. How do you assess this team going into the season?
Kind of the way you guys do, I think. It's a good team. It could easily be a playoff team, but probably along with you, I think their offense is going to be really a big problem, certainly for the first half of the season. And that, again, gets in Dominus territory here because of Parker Meadows. We don't know when he's getting back or necessarily if he's getting back soon. And, he takes a lot out of that, not just defensively, but he's your leadoff guy. He can run like a greyhound, and he creates a lot of offense on top of the fact, of course, his defense is irreplaceable. But, gentlemen, I think when they struck out on Alex Bregman, of course, they conceded that they're just not getting the big bat that they really required, particularly on that left side of the infield. And all is not lost because I think they'll make that deal for that left side infield bat by the trade deadline. Now, that's 4 months away, but it's going to probably be a case where that's when they'll have the ability to strike. and to add the bat with thump, and the guy preferably probably plays third base. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you something else. I think their shortstop could arrive as early as July and maybe August, and that's going to be Kevin McGonigal. And this kid is really, really, really good and special. And if he's at shortstop and they get a third base with the trade deadline deal, guess what? You could be seeing a second half that would be reminiscent of what they did last year.
So it seems like the goal is literally just to kind of stay afloat here for the first half of the season. And Lynn, I think it was about a week ago, middle of last week, Alex Bregman on a TV broadcast said that he believed, or no, it was to the Foul Territory, AJ Pierzynski's podcast. He said that he believed all along he was absolutely going to the Detroit Tigers, and it was only 30 minutes before he's about to sign that deal that Boston comes in. Now, if he says that publicly, you know, Scott Harris and AJ Hinch, I would imagine, felt pretty good that they were going to get Alex Bregman all alone too, all along. And that really just, as you mentioned, sent this offseason into a tizzy.
My question, Ryan, is why didn't he sign when he had the full Tigers deal on the table? And I'll tell you why he didn't sign, because he doesn't like the ballpark at Comerica and he wanted to hit at Fenway and drive up his numbers. And it's as simple as that. Otherwise, he'd have been with the Tigers. But those guys don't like that ballpark. And, hey, it's only a continuation of what the strategy was when the place was built. John McHale and Randy Smith wanted a place that hitters, quote-unquote, would hate. Well, they got it. And guys don't like playing there. I mean, they will, but they don't like it. Not good hitters, because they know they lose so many home runs and well-hit balls that end up in leather. And I'm sure that was part of Bregman's calculus. It had to have been. Otherwise, he would have taken Detroit's deal.
Mr. H, on this 25-man roster, has Torque done enough to stay here? Is he worthy of staying here, or do you keep a Justin Henry Malloy, a guy that could play a few different positions and has also had a good spring? They both have. What is your options here?
Maz, Torque is the guy that they're going to keep. He will be fine. I think he'll get somewhere in that 30 home run neighborhood again. He'll hit better than he certainly showed last year. I've always compared Torkelson's 2024 season with Kirk Gibson's 1983 season. Gibson went through a lot of trauma that year, and he refined some things with his skills over the offseason, but particularly went to work on his mind, and then he became Kirk Gibson in 84. I think you're going to see Torkelson somewhere in that vicinity, guys, and that would mean, again, I don't think he's going to hit for a huge average, but then neither did Gibson. I think he's going to get his 30 home runs. I think he's going to get plenty of at-bats between first base, designated hitter, and now he can fill in a little bit at times in the outfield. And for that reason, Maz, he can do more things for you than Malloy can, who really doesn't have a defensive position, even though Justin Henry Malloy can be a value add with his ability not only to hit, but particularly to get that walk. So he's not out of the question. But when they got, fellas, yesterday, the announcement that when we received news that that Miguel, or rather, I just wrote his name 52 times here today, that
Manuel Margot?
Manuel Margot, forgive me for having the mental block there, but
that's okay.
I've just gotten writing him about 50, like I said, 50 times. But anyway, Manuel Margot, when they got him to fill in the outfield, and he's very good against left-handers. And so really, guys, that puts the squeeze now on Malloy, because you can put him out there at a couple of positions he's going to hold up. And that's Malloy's problem. He just doesn't really have a position. But Margot really made it tough for Malloy, and also really for Jahmai Jones, who's played well. I mean, I think he got the word in the dugout yesterday about Margot. and he promptly hit one 441 feet at Clearwater.
I saw that.
I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
No.
But it's tough on those guys. It could even be tough. I don't expect that Wenzel Perez would get squeezed out, but only because his back acts up so much. You've got a little bit of peril there. But Margot, against lefties, they were looking for a guy that can play some defense, but also match up well. And against left-handers, that's Margot.
Hey, I'm going to open myself up to a little criticism from you here, but maybe you could calm me down. I mentioned that I believe in all the years I've watched baseball that I don't think I've seen a more mismatched infield in my entire life. And you have a Zach McKinstry starting probably opening day at third base, Colt Keith playing first base, which he hasn't played. What our second baseman, Gleyber Torres, is going to do.
It's Gleyber Day.
It's Gleyber Day. The shortstops, it's Sweeney and Javi Baez. The catcher's okay. Jake Rogers I like. Dingler's on the way up. But am I wrong? Is this not one of the weakest infields ever put together?
No, Maz. It's no. And other than being all wrong, you're all right there. Really, I get your point, Maz. I do. It's not ideal, particularly at third base when you don't have Vierling. But they'll be okay. You can put up Anyas at third, and he'll hold up. McKinstry's okay at third. Trey Sweeney can handle a glove. He's not going to hit a lot, but he can handle a glove for short. Baez is not going to hit, but we know he can field. Gleyber Torres is very good at second base, and he's going to have a big season. He is going to make out like a bandit on that free agent gamble. And then Colt Keith is okay at first base. You're going to see the occasional error, but I also saw him turn a 3.63 on Saturday that was as good as anybody makes. That's not always going to be a plus, I realize, Maz. And when you have a well-pitched game and they don't score many runs and you have one booted at third or first, you're going to be vindicated on that point of view, by the way, buddy.
I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I again, Maz, it's just not as extreme as you would paint it. It's competent. More to the point, though, they're going to miss, again, the bat on the left side of the infield. You have to have some help from shortstop and third base. You've just got to simply put some bats in some hands there and stick those in a lineup and know that they're going to hold up. And, Baez and Sweeney, not ideal by any means. And third base is going to be a platoon situation for as long as Vierling's out. And even when Vierling's in, he's a 7 or 8 hitter. So that's why I say, fellas, get ready because there's going to be a whopper of a trade made in July. And the Tigers have trade pieces to pull that kind of deal off, and I'm sure they will.
How big of a year is this for two players in particular, Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green? It feels like Carpenter, when he's in the lineup, this is just a completely different team. And then for Riley Green, there's just not too many guys in the Tigers lineup that you can peg for 25 homers, 80 RBIs, close to 280 average. He's got to be that this year for the Tigers to succeed, does he not?
No, I agree, Ryan, fully on both those guys. Kerry Carpenter, you're right. I mean, when he was out from May until July last year, you could see game after game after game that he could have turned around. If you had that big left-handed bat in there. So you've got it this year, and he's going to have a nice season. Riley Green should be having really good numbers, and I mean better numbers, perhaps, than we anticipate him to have. Pardon me for coughing there. But Riley Green, guys, he can't give away at bats. And frankly, I see him do that once in a while, particularly when it gets too long. With 2 strikes, he needs to make sure he gets the bat on the ball. He's got that skill, and he needs to be more of a weapon, frankly, than even perhaps he imagines he can be, because I think that skill set is there. Pardon me.
Happens to me all the time there, Lynn. Happens to me all the time. I wanted to ask you about this division, Lynn. Last year, Cleveland kind of went away and hit a little bit. Minnesota was really good all year, but then collapsed. Here came the Tigers. Royals involved as well. Pretty darn good team there. The White Sox are improving. Not many ways for the White Sox to go other than up, we think.
6 pitchers on Tommy John.
I know,
surgery.
6 pitchers Tommy John for my Chris Getz-led Chicago White Sox. But where do you see this division, Lynn? Is it still Cleveland's right now? Do you anticipate the Tigers to, be around there, at the end of the year? Where is this division to you?
The Twins are going to be better than probably people realize, and they might be the team really to pick. That fade that they had at the end of last season was absurd. They should have had that thing won easily. Cleveland will be there again, you can bet, and could easily win it again. They've always got this ability to have good pitching and to stitch together again enough lineup parts to make themselves a beast. Kansas City's better. And when you got Bobby Witt at shortstop, franchise player, you're in really great shape. I think Kansas City is going to be pesky and a real pain for the Tigers. I picked the Tigers a year ago to win 85 games. All right, the 186 with that blistering close. I've got them winning again this year, 85. And that might be a little bit of a stretch if they can't get Meadows back and deal at midseason for the bat we've talked about. But if they do, then you can have a case made that they could steal this thing or at least get a wild card spot. But I have a feeling, fellas, that the way things are starting out here, again with Meadows and Braylon out for a significant amount of time, and with the left side of the infield really as wobbly as it is, that's a tall order to win 85 or more than 85 for sure. And yet they've got pitching that can hold up with anybody in baseball, and that will win you a lot of games. We'll just see what happens. I think they're going to get a definite plus out of Torkelson this year, and Torres I think is going to really have a nice season. And then the outfield is, again with Meadows back, if Meadows is back, it's pretty sturdy. But they're starting off here in a little bit of a hole with, again, the Braylon and Meadows situation, what it is, and that's a little frightening.
Hey, last one, Mr. H. Pitching-wise, Casey Mize obviously has really pitched himself onto this squad. What's your thinking on him going forward? And also, look, you guys are going to be playing they're going to San Francisco to play the Giants, and it brings up to Justin Verlander. And Verlander could have come here on the same deal that Alex Cobb had. I know I ask you this all the time, but he's had one whale of a spring. Cobb hasn't pitched, obviously. He's injured. Please talk. I still don't understand that move. And then, what's your take on Mize?
Mize is a beast. All of those guys are so much bigger and stronger. I was looking at Scooble Saturday, and I couldn't believe it. He's added so much muscle, even from last year. I don't know how anybody's going to hit him this season. Mize looks like the Mize they thought they were getting. Again, bigger. He's refined that repertoire in really amazing ways. And he looks like he's going to be pretty doggone good. But, Maz, I think we have to concede one thing here. Justin Verlander is 42 years old. This stuff has a shelf life about it. Alex Cobb is 37. I like going for the bigger picture and the longer time frame. And I think Cobb made more sense for them. I really do, particularly the way he was throwing at the end of last year. I'm more for youth and for ancient chronology. And I think, you're banking on Verlander, and none of us would be surprised if he has a Verlander grade season. I'm not suggesting that for a moment, Maz. But I think at 42, you're really taking a chance that you weren't taking with Alex Cobb.
The great Lynn Henning, we cannot thank you enough for your time, sir. We always appreciate your expertise on this show. Safe travels back to Atlanta, my friend, and we'll see you soon up in Detroit, hopefully.
You got it, Ryan. Good talking with you, gentlemen. Always appreciate the conversation.
You
Peace
got
out,
it. The great
Mr.
Lynn
You're
Henning.
good.
You can follow him on X at Lynn_Henning. So, yeah, I mean, Tigers.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And, again, the hope is that your pitching rotation and your lineup can keep you around, hang around
Right.
until the trade deadline, and then you're going to make a sweetheart move and have that second half that you believe.
And he likes McGonkle to come up and
Absolutely.
take over that shortstop.
And that'd be great.
So
and
we'll
then
see.
you get your shortstop, your third baseman, and then you go from there. This team cannot afford a major injury, Braylon Edwards.
They already have 'em.
They just can't afford. I'm talking about
Another one.
to Riley Green
Right.
or Kerry Carpenter. Can't
Right.
afford one.
Yeah, no, I wish the audio jack was
Braylon
working.
had some headphone problems.
Yeah.
Right? I just let everybody know so he couldn't hear Lynn.
But I heard the conversation. I heard you guys have conversations. It was a great conversation. It just seems like all our Detroit teams were always like, oh, we'll see. It just always seems like the Detroit mentality. We'll see, but they couldn't get the player that they wanted, so we'll see what happens down the line. That pitching staff was very good. They bring back Jack Flaherty, so we'll see if it can keep him in the running like it did last year.
All right, gang, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL, including the way too early NFC power rankings.
You love power rankings.
I love the
No
power
such thing
rankings.
as too early. No
Where
such thing.
are the Detroit
You
Lions
love them.
in the NFC power ranking? We'll have that for you. And Xavier Worthy in the news as well. I want to talk about this
single.
story.
Stay
I want to
single.
talk about this coming up next. But first, a message from Dr. Pierce.
Attention, sports fans. Do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big G Energy. Joins us on Thursdays, sometimes Fridays here. Trust the guy that DMAC and Braylon trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit him at MichiganSportsandSpine.com or 248-426-9944.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. Throw it out, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com is where you need to go to get your new merch. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads, whether it's Tigers, opening day's coming up. I know you need something for the Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions. Doesn't matter. We got you. We got it for you. It's a new era with the ultimate swag, new apparel, new designs. Guaranteed to turn heads. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Go there and get your new merch.
And Bray?
50 metropolitan Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is the best gym around. Love my membership there. I love the people around there. Look, man, the gyms are squeaky clean. I can attest to that. There's no judgment. You come in, you work out at your own pace. It's exactly what I'm allowed to do. I come in, I do the exercises that I want, skip the ones that I don't want. And then also, man, they're there to help you. There's a member with every membership. There are trainers. So look, man, this is a spot for you. There's fitness that fits into your budget as well. They're not trying to hit you over the head with prices. At the end of the day, your fitness is essential. That's why you gotta go to Planet Fitness.
Speaking of Planet Fitness, I was just watching some of the video coming in, the promo video that we have. Shout out to Spenny, man. Spencer Raxter. Man, some of the video that we show, he's like lost one of himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that dude is doing it, man. God bless you, Spenny. Respect. Fires me up for you and your health and all that stuff. Gonna call it the welterweights.
The welterweights.
There's still a heavyweight on that show.
The welterweights.
The welterweights. There you go.
The light heavyweights.
Speaking of heavyweights,
got to.
George Foreman.
Sad.
Yeah, man, my boy.
One of my all-time favorite athletes.
And Grills.
My boy.
Man, that breaks my heart that he
Man,
has
give me a
passed
good
away.
George Foreman story. Why you loved him so much?
How do you not love him? I mean, here's a guy that was a big brute. 1968, he wins a gold medal for the United States, beats the Russian, knocks him into submission, becomes a pro, becomes a champion. Ali made fun of him, made fun of him, made him go to Zaire and play rope-a-dope with him, and he beat George. And George had to learn a lesson. He did. And what he did to Joe Frazier was unbelievable. No one did to Joe Frazier what George Foreman did to Joe Frazier. Knocked him down 6-7 times, knocked him out of the
heck out of him.
in the first round, I'm talking. Joe Frazier was done in the second round, and that was a Wide World of Sports fight, guys.
I love when
Wide
his knee
World of
does
Sports, 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon. You listen to Howard Cosell, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. And then he just reinvents himself, goes away, becomes this big, heavy guy, comes out with the George Foreman grill.
Legendary.
Doesn't take money for it. Says, give me royalties. He was making like $4 million a month on royalties.
I've had many of them.
Becomes a preacher. Then he says, what the hell? I think I'm going to fight again. Comes back. He's bald, fat, and he knocks out Michael Moore, the Detroit heavyweight.
Crunk.
And you know what he tells the Jim Lampley? He becomes an HBO boxing broadcaster. Then he's like, hey, Jim, I'm going to come back and fight. He's like, I'm going to make some fights. He knocks out some bums, some tomato cans. Then he comes up, and then it's time to fight Michael Moore. And Jim Lampley says, how you going to beat Michael Moore?
Oh, that right
And
hand.
George Foreman says to him, I'm going to tell you, Jim, there's going to come a time late in this fight when Moore is going to come to me, and he's going to let me knock him out. And Jim's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you watch. And George would not sit down on his stool in his comeback. He stood with his arms on the ropes.
Waiting.
Stood on the ropes. Never sat down. He was gassed.
Waiting.
10th round. Michael Moore is pushing him around. About 50 seconds to go. And George Foreman gives him a right uppercut and sends him into La La Land. And then George just kneels down, puts his head down. Jim Lampley was silent for the first 10 seconds. And he's like, it happened. It happened.
There's the punch.
That was his call. It happened.
My gosh.
It happened. George told him exactly what was going to happen. And Michael Moore put his chin there and got knocked out.
Smoke.
I love George Foreman.
Yeah, no, everything you said, 100% true. Things I love about that, just to add to the story. One, Michael Moore is from Philly. He trained in Detroit. Exactly. He trained in Detroit. If I'm gonna take somebody that got knocked out, they really got to be from here.
He's no hitman.
But 100%.
Fighting out of Detroit.
Yeah,
there you go. Fighting out of Detroit.
No.
So I had to clear that up first. No, but the thing that's just cool about George, he was a butthole. He was a mean dude. He was a butthole, much like Maz said. And, after the Muhammad Ali thing, he had to go find his way, and he got into preaching. The thing that I like is once he got into preaching, his trainer that got him into boxing, the one that put money in his pocket, that took him over to Zaire, etc., he tried to bring him back. He said, all you are is a boxer. He said, you're a boxer. Come back and get this money. I can get you some fights. I can get you this. He stayed the path of his religion. And then his trainer went away, and he did the religion for a while, and then he went back to it. But his trainer told him, he said, you never get any money. You won't do anything outside of boxing. Boxing is who you are. He said, I'm a man of God. And he went and did that. And then later, like Matt said, he went out and saw this trainer. He said, I think I want to fight.
Sure.
Actually, by the
So
way.
wasn't
for the money.
Well, exact, and that's what I like. He didn't care about the money. He wanted to confirm his relationship with God. And then later on down the line, he sunk out his trainer again. And then they beat Michael Moore. And he had a hell of a career in his 40s. So that's the part I love about him. He stayed with that faith, and he was rewarded. Look at the Foreman grill. Like, faith is rewarded if you believe.
If you went to every college kid had a Foreman grill.
I did.
100%.
Every college kid.
We had
Grilled
one at the frat
cheeses.
house.
Every bachelor, every single guy.
Yeah,
We had one in my family. My family had it.
Yeah, right. Everybody had one, but it could, but it
It's
cooked
just
both sides.
It's just the size pause evolves when you get older. Like when I was in college, I had the little hand. I had the little small one. I got in the league. I had like 3 or 4 of the big ones. Pull them back. Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole when he passed on Saturday, and I was crying for like an hour watching his fight.
Maz, I love you.
I mean
man.
it. You don't know how much. I swear to you.
I know.
You don't know how much I loved boxing.
Remember Shannon Briggs?
Good
Of course.
Shannon Briggs. So I'm watching the interview, same thing when he passed. So they're showing all these interviews of people talking about George. And they asked him, and Briggs, the guy that fought in the 90s, you remember he's from New York, lives in Miami. He had the blonde dreads.
Wasn't
the whole
great.
night. Well, it wasn't great, but was strong.
Yeah.
Strong like an ox. And they were asking him, he says, you fought Klitschko, you fought Lennox, you fought George. And keep in mind, he fought George when he was older, right? Yeah. He was, that's not even close. George Foreman. He said, I went to the, he said, you'll see me talking to my trainer after the second round. He said, I went to the trainer and told him, I said, there's no way he doesn't have anything in his gloves. And they showed kind of like the clip. Obviously, you can't hear him, but you see him talking to his trainer like, it's kind of like Rocky.
Yeah. What did Tony tell about Rocky's punches? He's breaking you up inside. He's breaking you up inside. Yeah. And I just went down the rabbit hole and watched all these fights. I implore you to go back and watch some George Foreman fights. Watch the Ron Lyle fight. It's one of the greatest fights you will ever see. It's just two guys beating the living daylights out of each other.
Old school.
And what boxing has become now, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, George Foreman wasn't the best boxer. I'm not trying to talk stuff about his boxing skills, so please don't jump on me, man. He wasn't the best boxer, but he was the strongest boxer that ever lived, and he had durability. Yep. So he could just wait you out. Yeah, especially after Muhammad Ali taught him that lesson. Figured it out.
Man, I was blessed to grow up when I did, to watch the fights. I wish I had another 10 years prior to that to watch Sugar Ray Robinson and Rocky Marciano and all those guys. I miss those guys, but I saw plenty of great
top five heavyweights of your time. Ranking.
Ali, Foreman, Frazier.
Foreman too.
Yes, absolutely. Ken Norton, Larry Holmes.
Where does Tyson fit in there?
He's in the next 5.
He's top 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You've got Tyson after Ken Norton.
Yes, I do.
Ken Norton almost beat everybody that was great. And he beat Muhammad Ali twice. They didn't give him away.
Robbed.
Can I quickly amend that list?
I played with his son, Ken Norton Jr.
I know you did.
Tom, can I amend your list?
What was his celebration in the end zone?
Oh, he would do the punch.
He was hitting the goalpost back.
100% imitate his father.
Tom, can I amend your list? Just politely, because I know there's not a lot of footage of him, but the stories that we all know, and you can hear Joe Louis has to be top 5, man.
No, he said his lifetime.
I didn't get to see him.
Oh, of his
I
lifetime.
know Maz is old people.
Of his lifetime. No, I missed
Joe Louis is 176 years old when he fought.
He will Rocky Marciano. Who's your 5?
I would put Tyson 1 even over Ali just because I saw him.
But
I know he's not, but that's me. Right. I would put Tyson 1. I would put
don't crap on Larry Holmes.
Foreman 2. I would put Holyfield.
Loved him.
3.
He's in my second 5.
Lennox Lewis 4.
He's in my second 5.
And I'm not sure there is a 5.
So I would do this. Tyson is. Let me ask you this question: who's the best or who's your favorite? Or just
Ali
like
is
what?
my favorite.
No,
whatever.
I'm saying like.
Yeah,
He's my favorite athlete of all time.
All right, so
Muhammad
my
Ali.
era, Evander Holyfield is 1, Lennox Lewis is 2, Mike Tyson is 3. Heavyweight our era.
How about Leonard? Sugar Ray Leonard. Thomas Hearns.
He's not a heavyweight.
Oh,
Heavyweight.
He's not a
heavyweight.
heavyweight.
Okay.
The reason why I do that, like I was able to start in the 80s, but I also saw Evander Holyfield whoop Mike's ass.
Yeah.
So like I can't overlook that. I can't overlook what Lennox did.
Yeah.
Riddick Bowe was 4 for me. I love Riddick Bowe. I think Riddick Bowe.
Oh, and Lewis. Oh my God.
That's why I was about
the trilogy.
No,
Evander
trilogy was great.
Holyfield and Riddick Bowe is the greatest
Fabulous.
heavyweight trilogy, including Muhammad Ali.
The prison thing for Tyson kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
If Holyfield.
Ali went to prison.
I know, but if Holyfield meets Tyson earlier,
Yeah.
Tyson?
it's Tyson.
It's Tyson.
I agree.
Tyson
I
against
agree.
everybody.
But he
Yeah.
beat him twice.
Tyson's won.
After prison.
After
Okay.
prison.
Well, you
Minus
don't
an
care
ear.
about it.
He also headbutted.
We'll never know.
Minus an
My
ear.
list.
We'll never know.
Hey, it's
Sorry,
my
man.
list.
I can't help myself.
Okay, you have your
cannot.
list.
My
I
blood gets
appreciate
going when you talk
your
boxing.
list. It's my list. Okay, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I do want to do a Lion story and get this Xavier Worthy out there as well. But
I
Lions.
can't wait till you
next.
bring that up, man. I'll tell you some stories.
But first, a message from Mark White.
Yes, sir. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team are up to give you. They're going to give you $5,000 off your closing costs. That's $5,000 in your pocket. Call them today. 248-290-8242. You can hit that QR code as well. MarkWhiteSells.com online. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. You know that March Madness is already underway. We got the Sweet 16 coming up on Thursday. Also on Thursday, baseball starts. So you're going to have to scan that QR code above my head and use that code word over there, Woodward 1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Deposit at least $20. Make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward 1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook accounts.
All right, Woodward Sports Network, it is that time where we go around the NFL.
Big trades, big moves. Who is starting? Who's injured? What does it all add up to? It's time for Around the NFL on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
I told you I was going to give away 2 Grand Slam tickets for our opening day party. Well, now's the time. First one, I'm going to say this. 5th one in. Pete, I want you to watch for it. 5th person in the right Grand Slam Festival. You're going to get 2 tickets to our opening day party down at the Detroit Opera House, the tent. Give you 2 tickets.
Oh, baby!
We're going to do it every year. We're going to do it every day this week. 2 tickets for the 5th person that writes in Grand Slam Festival. There you go. Pete, you let me know who it is, and I'll start you off right here on a little NFL news. And we told you we're going to tell you about the power rankings, the NFC power rankings. JPA Football, very good place to watch, to check it out on Twitter or X. JP here's the NFC power rankings. Where are your Detroit Lions, folks?
They're number three right now, behind the Eagles, and the Washington Commanders have passed them. And I believe we do have a winner for the Grand Slam Festival.
And don't count Chase.
So El Gato Players, we are not going to count Chase. The guy is 3, Players is 4, and El Gato gets him.
El Gato is the winner.
El Gato is the winner.
El Gato, you're going to text me. I want you to make sure you hit me up at Maz at Woodward Sports. I'll put that in there. All right, guys, go ahead.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's get back to this, Braylon Edwards. This is the NFC way too early power rankings. This was put out by FanDuel Sports. And again, they have the Lions 3rd here on this list, behind the Eagles and the Commanders. I think this is pretty fair. In fact, I would have probably put them behind the LA Rams, to be quite honest with you. But nonetheless,
for the NFC?
In the NFC?
Wow.
You think the Lions are better than the Rams right now?
I don't know, but 5th don't sound right to me.
No, I would have 4th.
You'll be 4th. You just don't like the way it sounds?
Yeah. Don't, because we had the Lions as the top 3 NFL team just last year.
They've got the Vikings 10th on this.
So that's what I was going to start.
Come on.
Hey, you say you don't like that? You're the one complaining about the Lions' moves the last 3 weeks.
I know that.
So,
but now that I'm looking at it,
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard for me to put Washington over them. I don't believe Washington is better than the Lions. Matter of fact, I totally do not believe that Washington is better. I'll keep the Eagles where they are. They're the world champs. Yeah, they lost some players, but they got other players.
So were you Eagles, Lions, Rams, Commanders?
Yeah. I might even put the Vikings.
Say it for me.
Eagles, Lions, Rams, Commanders.
Rams. I might even put the Vikings over the Commanders.
Okay.
I think the Vikings are 4th. I do. Or 5th.
So do you trust? So then, whoever's at quarterback for the Vikings, you trust more than Jaden Daniels?
I trust. Well, Jaden Daniels is one player. I do. I believe he'll have a sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud.
Wow, that's the team I was just going to give you now.
Yeah.
Is there a Houston-like setback for Washington this year?
Was it a setback, or was it everybody on your team getting hurt? Joe Mixon missed 3 games. Tank Dell was out for the year.
That's part of it.
Not really. That's not fair. That's not a slump. Like if I'm a quarterback and I'm missing 3 of my by the way, Nico Collins missed 7 games last year. Yeah. So I'm like, if I'm a quarterback and all my wide receivers miss 5 or more games, that's not a slump. That's not a slump. But to your point, yeah.
I think Washington is talented. I think, let's face it, if they played that game again this year, I think the Lions would smash Washington. I know they would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to piss anybody off, so I go Eagles, Lions, Rams, and Commanders. I hope you guys are happy with that. That's where I'm at.
You don't have to piss people off.
Yeah.
Do you really believe that?
Maz, it's a stick.
I know, but do you really believe that, number 2?
It's a shtick.
It's a stick. It's just a stick. No, I don't believe that. I believe currently as constructed, it would be the Eagles.
So put that up again, Pete.
No.
I can go without it. But
I know, but I want
Easier
people
to
to see it
see.
again.
yeah, I got you. Here you go. Eagles. This is how confident am I with my Los Angeles Rams theory. You know what the hell? I go Eagles 1, Lions in a 2A 2B situation with the Rams, Commanders 4, and then Bucks 5.
Hell, I'm going to go Lions 1, Eagles 2, Commanders 3, Rams 4, Minnesota 5, Bears 6.
I'm just looking at the Rams where people get pissed about that move. Last year, as it relates, let's figure it this way. Last year, when the season's over, who was a better team, do you think, the Rams or the Lions? When the season was over, who was the better team?
I mean, the Rams were one drive away in the snow from
Okay, so who was the better team?
The Rams.
All right.
The Rams.
All right, now, Rams off season. You happy with what they did?
Yeah, I am.
Are you happy with what the Lions did?
No.
So
I'm
then
not.
it seems like the Rams would be right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
I just, again, when Lynn Henning was on, he talked about you're just waiting for a trade with the Tigers.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with the Lions right now. I'm just waiting for a trade.
It's not going to happen.
But maybe it happens mid-season. Maybe somebody is having a career year. I don't know who. I'm just making stuff up now, but maybe there's that player out there that could put this team over the top. I don't believe the 28th pick of the draft is going to put the Lions over the top. I just don't. I don't believe the 12th pick in the draft is going to put the Lions over the top if they trade up. I just don't believe that player exists in this draft. I just don't believe he exists.
Last week I started a conversation. I'm going to continue that. At the end of the day, this is what the Lions believe. Lions believe they're already a better team.
Correct.
Like the Lions believe in what they have and the players that would have played last year but that were injured that they re-signed this year. They believe they have their team. They believe they're finding bodies in the offseason. Lopez, Stewart. They're bringing in guys so that they have bodies, so that they have that depth at the end of the year. So we're now looking at what we did last year in the playoffs where you don't have anybody to fill in. If the Lions believe that, I mean – DJ Reed is a good player. Aleem McNeil was starting to come into his own. You guys all said it. Aiden Hutchinson was going to be, maybe, potentially, Defensive Player of the Year. Davenport, when he plays. So if this is the spot that they're in, and they trust themselves, they trust what they put out there in 2024, then the Lions will be 2 on this list. The Lions, because they're bringing in injured players that will basically become new players to a certain extent. Lions will be 2. Eagles are the Super Bowl winner. Got to put them 1. Lions 2, Rams did good. But the Rams behind the Lions 3, Commanders. I still like the Bucks, and then what the quarterback situation will be for the Vikings.
Hey, B. Martin, he's gotten 10 more tickets coming to him.
Let's go.
He's a league leader right now. He has got another super chat, and he says his way too early NFC power rankings. Number 1, the Eagles. Number 2, the Rams. Number 3, the Lions. Number 4, the Commanders. Number 5, the Chicago Bears.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it.
A lot of people are high on the Bears. I mean, the Bears.
I like our division.
Look, the Bears have won the offseason. Is that fair to say?
They're up there.
As far
Vikings
as
too.
offseason publicity, the Bears have won that with the new head coach and the offensive line and the defensive line and all the things that they have done. They have won the offseason, the Chicago Bears.
Don't sleep on the Commanders. Don't sleep on the Commanders.
Well, I think the addition.
You're talking about the coach.
Yeah. Well, the addition of Ben Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Really trumps all of that.
I wasn't thinking in that regard. Yes, you're correct.
So
and his staff. I mean, he brought a pretty good staff with him. So we'll see how they mesh together and how Caleb Williams adapts to them.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that it doesn't work for the Bears this season?
Absolutely, there's a chance because they're the Bears. It just feels like the Bears are just one of those organizations that really, for as good of players as they have, could never put it together. You know what I mean? And Ben Johnson has the X's and O's, but does he have the ability to gather a group of men together and say, follow me, lead me? I think the X's and O's, everybody's got the X's and O's. Most people have the X's and O's.
As Robert Saleh did, he had the X's and O's.
Right. It's a great point. If you don't think Robert Saleh can draw up a defense as good as anybody in the league, you're wrong. but he just didn't have the buy-in. Can you get the buy-in from Ben Johnson? Does he inspire these players? Can he speak to them?
I never saw a moment out of Robert Saleh when he was there, whether it was in the interviewing process, whether he was at a podium, whether it was a post-game, pre-game. I never saw that part. I saw a great defensive mind. I saw a guy that loves his players, but I didn't see that. Ben Johnson, when he was in Chicago, the first thing he did, what did he tell all the staff members there? He said, our duty is to these players. Like, he made sure as the first thing he said to everybody that was listening, Maz in the Rotunda, did he not? He said, hey, we are here for these players, for them. I think that's a hell of a start in the right direction, Ryan. I don't know what comes after that, but I think that's a great start, because if I'm a player, okay, I see why they were successful in Detroit. I'm going to keep my eyes open, but I like the initial thought. Make sure the players know that you guys are here for them first.
Now, Ben Johnson's not going to be a Dan Campbell type of leader, but he could be a Kyle Shanahan. He might be a Sean McVay.
Matt LaFleur.
A Matt LaFleur. Maybe, but
Just
Matt LaFleur,
he looks like him.
Matt LaFleur has
Offensive
dropped down
guy.
a few pegs. He's dropped down a few
no
pegs.
doubt.
He had a rough time here in Detroit with the fan. You know, to me, that tells me if you can get to a coach like that, then you're in his head. Correct. And he was never been the same.
You've lost control a little bit.
He's never been the same since that day. Since that Lions fan who got thrown out from the season tickets. Remember, he was holding the flag.
Unless that's who you are, because Nick Sirianni does that, but see, that's who he is.
Yes.
So he's not
Sirianni owns it.
Exactly. That's who he is. If you try to do something you're not, it messes with you.
Correct.
And I think you're right about Matt LaFleur. It messed with him.
Yep.
He wasn't even straight the whole game.
No.
He was off.
He was wrong the whole rest of the year.
You're right.
So we'll see. I mean, I think Matt LaFleur has plenty of questions and not a lot of answers right now. I think Ben Johnson has plenty of questions and not a lot of answers right now. Dan Campbell has a lot of questions, I think, about how he is going to react. He's got two new coordinators. There are still some in-game decisions that I think boggle a lot of Detroit Lions fans' minds. And, Kevin O'Connell is as good a coach as there is in this league offensively. But even that, in the two most important games of the season for Minnesota, he could not find a way to protect Sam Darnold. He couldn't find, this offensive genius, Kevin O'Connell, could not find a way to protect Sam Darnold in the two biggest games of the year for Minnesota. So there are questions up and down the coaching ranks when it comes to the NFC North.
And that's why Sam Darnold isn't there with the Minnesota Vikings currently, because they could not protect him. That wasn't a protection issue. That was a Sam Darnold issue.
I think he just turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah, agreed.
It was midnight. It struck midnight for him. Hey, before we get out of here, we got to talk about why you stay single as an NFL player. Xavier Worthy, the very worthy rookie of the Kansas City Chiefs, is suing his girlfriend for, lots of things.
So suing his ex-girlfriend, saying she abused him, fabricated claims of domestic violence in an effort to, quote, extort a home, money, cars, and other valuables. Multiple reports saying that. It's so incredible that this story just came out today, because last night I was watching a podcast. By the way, Burn, $5, another entry. I don't know. I saw the 0 days versus 50 days after Ben Johnson took the Bears' job viral image. I'm worried for Ben. He looks like a hostage.
He does. He looks like a president.
Fair enough. So as this Xavier Worthy story is coming out today, I was watching a podcast last night, Bill Maher and the comedian Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I love
and
Schultz.
they were talking about how, because Bill Maher is single and Andrew Schultz is 3 years married and has a kid. But they were talking about how back in the day, groupies used to try to get over singers or famous people and try to get pregnant. Yeah. They wanted to get pregnant. That was their ticket.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them will not do that. They want to trap you to put you in a position where they can sue you. Mm-hmm. That is the goal now.
Like a palimony?
Like they just want to get you in trouble so you pay them off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that they can move on with their life.
Yep.
So
What do you think Jaden Daniels' mom sits with them? everywhere he goes.
I saw that clip. That was
He was sitting with Juju.
Yeah, I would have been mad at my mom for that one.
You know, they're just two innocent kids talking to each
They're
other.
cousins.
Mom is there. Yeah.
Nobody pays attention. They're cousins.
Oh, wow.
They're
That's
cousins.
kissing cousins.
As it relates to what Ryan and Maya is talking about, I was waiting for my turn because I lived that life.
Yeah.
Like I had to deal with that life.
This is all you.
Like the scariest thing for a professional athlete, you start to get dealing with. It doesn't matter about first round or second round. Scariest thing for an athlete is women. Yeah. It's women. You put yourself in a situation like what Xavier Ruther did, where you have a girlfriend that lives there. She can say anything, and it'll ruin your reputation. Like even when you come out ahead, like even when like case in point, Mateen Cleaves.
Yeah.
Once it's out there, it's out there. So now, like, it's tough. Back in the day, it was getting babies. Trust me. Yeah. I got caught. Back in the day, it was getting impregnated, so you get the child support throughout 18 years or whatever. It's exactly what Ryan said. Now it's about, let me come into the house, let me be a part of this, and then let me put you in a situation where it can be a domestic situation. And now I have the law on my side. Now I have social media on my side. Oh, I'm a woman. It's a professional athlete. It's a black professional athlete. We know how those storylines go. So it sucks. You got to protect yourself, like at all times, because you don't win in this situation. How long did it take Derrick Rose? Remember the lady came out and said, Derrick Rose and his boys raped me? Yeah. How long did it take him to clear his name?
There's probably still some people out there that have no idea.
Right. So to all these young
Duke lacrosse, the people who still know about the Duke lacrosse.
All these athletes, professional athletes, when you get this money, man, put yourself and get don't trust women. There's some great ones out there, but don't just trust them initially. You know, you got to vet the process.
That's why I think you should get married, so you won't be around that.
That's right.
Yeah, but even with that process, when did you meet this woman? Did this woman know you already? These women, they prey on you. They know Jaden Daniels is gonna get drafted. He's 22 years old out of LSU. They know his stats better than he knows them. Mm-hmm. And they know what club he's gonna be at. They know where he's going. They know where he lives. They know how to bump into him. They know how to be on social media, sliding to the DMs. Like, there's all types of ways, and that's why you see, like Matt said. Go ahead.
I'm not getting political, but the same thing happened to Elon Musk 1 month ago. A girl named Ashley St. Clair, who had claimed to be like buddies, you know, I believe in the same stuff you do. And then she ends up having Elon Musk's kid, his latest child. And then a week later, a former best friend of hers revealed a private message saying that she was looking to trap Elon Musk so she could have a kid forever and tied to him so he can give her money.
Elon Musk is an idiot. Like, first of all,
I'm just saying it happens aside from sports.
What I'm saying is you worth $165 trillion. You got to know they trying to have your baby, idiot.
No,
I agree.
He wants the kids. That's the thing.
I know. That's what I was getting to.
I hear you, but I agree.
A little bit different.
But it's
right. These athletes. I understand your point, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Man.
Then there's Tyreek Hill.
Right. I hope. Listen. I hope if Xavier Worthy is that's what you got to do. If you have the truth on your side, you have to sue them.
You do.
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot let it go. You cannot let it go. You got to sue them. All right, Bray, we got to get out of here. We're a minute over.
A minute over, man. We appreciate you guys.
You're going to be late.
Thanks for listening to the show, man. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have more Ryan Ermanni. Peace by there. Ricky Burns, my man Tom. Maz away, brother Networks. We are Ermanni Networks with Maz. Thank you. Hey, contest is over on Thursday.
Anson Day tomorrow.
Thursday. Got to have your bets in. All right, we will see you guys mañana with Anson Wells.